Guam for 80 years. Matson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. The all-new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
Ahead on Primetime, $1 million price tag on water and sewer upgrades means you'll be spending more on your water bill. Plus, a drug raid at a Sinahanya home covers a large amount of drugs. 2 people taken into custody. And it's not your traditional job fair. Keani Mendiola has more in the event where job seekers take the lead on getting employment.
Half a day and good evening.
The Guam Waterworks Authority plans to spend $1.2 billion to upgrade the water and sewer system.
That will mean an increase over time in monthly utility bills, but the CCU says it will also result in much improved service and enough capacity to meet future demand. Nestor Lecanto reports.
Consolidated Commission on Utilities Chairman Joey Dueñas says the new 20-year plan is actually an extension of a $900 million 2008 plan.
30% of those projects are done, 40% are underway to being done, 15% we're just getting off the ground, and remember it's a 20-year plan, but we're ahead of the game. Well, we are only spending about $600 million to finish all of these things.
Another 15% of projects weren't needed because they found other less costly ways to get them done. Dueñas says most of the previous plan was to meet EPA compliance, but in the new plan they can also focus on more localized problems, like family subdivisions that have outgrown their infrastructure.
First house went in, great water pressure. By the time the 20th house was built on the subdivided piece of property, no more water pressure. Well, people want that to improve. In order to improve those things that are not compliance issues, but to fix pressure problems, we have to do those improvements. That's all included in this plan.
There will be a cost. Water and sewer bills will go up an average of 3 to 4% a year, and by 2038, consumers at the lower end can expect to pay about $100 a month. But Dueñas argues that it was only a matter of time. Guam's system was hastily built by the military after the war, and improvements and maintenance to the antiquated system were haphazard at best.
Do you remember when we used to have boil water notices? Do you remember when we were polluting our oceans and we said don't fish in this area? So, that's the trade-off. You want a good water system, and to get a good water system, you have to spend money.
And he says they will conduct a public information campaign to take questions and comments on what lies ahead.
These plans don't gather dust. We implement them. We want the people to know, because one of the things that's important is for them to understand the improvement that this will mean to them.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
A large amount of drugs and a tip to police lands 2 men in prison. 33-year-old Tristan Nicholas Dueñas and 33-year-old Matthew Paul Borja Dueñas are charged with illegal possession of a Scheduled 1 and 2 controlled substance, drug possession with the intent to distribute, and for having the drugs in a school zone. Officers with the Medina Drug Task Force, DEA, and SWAT raided a Sinahanya home on Cali Angel Floor Street Tuesday after being tipped off about illegal drug activity there. Inside the home, authorities found more than 50 grams of cocaine, crystal meth, marijuana, and 2 M130 cal rifles. Tristan, additionally charged with possession of an unregistered firearm. Matthew also faces charges of child abuse.
The alleged sexual abuse went on for nearly a decade. Now a 57-year-old is under arrest. Johnny Luhanagan is charged with first and second-degree criminal sexual conduct, attempted first-degree criminal sexual conduct, indecent exposure, and harassment. The 14-year-old victim alleged that the suspect started to inappropriately touch her when she was only 5 or 6 years old. The alleged abuse continued from kindergarten through middle school, where the suspect is accused of rubbing her genital area and, in another instance, forcing her to have sex. The latest incident happened over Easter break when the victim woke up to the man allegedly touching her legs. The teen's mother confronted the suspect, but he told her if she reported him to police that he would kick them out of the house. The child then reported it to staff at her school. Court documents add the suspect had been investigated for a similar case after being accused of raping another child between 1993 and 2007. Then he was accused of threatening the victim, saying that he would kill them and then himself if they reported it to police. However, he wasn't charged for that case. Additionally, the suspect denied the recent allegation, saying the victim's mother was only trying to get even with him.
An apparent night out gone wrong. A 30-year-old man is under arrest accused of inappropriately touching a woman without her permission. Kevin John Certeza Roberts is charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct. Court documents stating the pair went out for drinks before going to the suspect's home. She fell asleep while waiting inside the car, then woke up. When she woke up, she felt something penetrating her genital area. That's when she noticed the suspect between her legs and yelled for him to stop.
It's back to Guam for the latest priest named in a clergy's sexual abuse lawsuit. The Archdiocese of Agana, in an emailed statement, reports they'll be calling former Chancellor Father Adrian Cristobal back home in light of the recent accusation against him. As we reported on Tuesday, a former altar boy, only identified by his initials as LJC, alleges Father Adrian sexually molested and abused him several times from 1995 to 1997 at the Barragata Parish. Father Adrian was sent to the Diocese of Phoenix to study canon law. No word yet on what action will be taken next, but the church has confirmed Father Adrian, while in Phoenix, has not been receiving a salary or honorarium from the Archdiocese.
Accused murderer Jonathan Ross Pangilinan pleaded not guilty to the charges against him. Late last month, after a Mes Chamorro celebration at AK Toyota, Pangilinan got into a fight with co-worker Libert Manglotnya. The fight ended with Manglotnya on the pavement, beaten to death. Pangilinan's next court hearing set for May 3rd.
The airman killed on Anderson Air Force Base has been laid to rest in his home state of Texas. However, military investigators are nowhere closer to finding out what went wrong.
Yeah, they have yet to release new details into the homicide. We heard from his mother, Charla, last week, and our affiliates at KPRC in Houston caught up with her as the family prepared to say their final goodbyes.
Gosh, and such a good kid, such a good kid.
Airman First Class Bradley Hale dreamed of serving his country, got the chance, and ran with it, says his mother, Charla. It was in his blood.
Comes from a really long line of military men. He was just amazing.
Was. The reason we're sharing Hale's story was.
It just breaks my heart.
Leaves his mother wishing time could go back before March 26th, the day Airman First Class Bradley Hale took his last breath.
He really loved the people he was with, the places they were going. He was really excited to go to Guam.
The Air Force tells Channel 2 Hale was on temporary duty at Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. He had been stationed at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. At Anderson, March 26th, 2:20 a.m., the Air Force says security got word of a disturbance at a lodging facility. When security arrived, officials say Airman First Class Bradley G. Hale was unresponsive. He was just shy of his 21st birthday.
As a military mom, you sign up right along with them. You know your loved ones are going to be in the line of danger at some point, and if they're not, great, you know, but you sign up for that. I didn't sign up for this. Not like this.
There is a man in custody, a fellow airman whose name has not been released.
I do want to know who. My main concern or my main wish is to know why.
Now, a dozen attorneys have opted out of the prison murder case that should have went to trial this Friday. In court late today, attorney Jacques Brons argued counsel must be competent, noting, quote, "I have not touched a criminal case for 20 years," end quote. This was enough reason for the court to remove him from the case and assign new counsel, attorney Phil Torres, to represent Andrew Rios Jr. Also in court but unable to answer to the charges today, Vincent Minicio. Both men will return next week to plead to their alleged roles in the killing of prison detainee Manson Isar. Court documents state the murder was a revenge attack on Isar, who was in jail for allegedly raping a teen with Down syndrome. Also charged are defendants Marvin Recha, Melas Cimarron, Benster Benjamin, Eisler Miller, Jeremiah Shizeki, Albert Santos II, and Jimmy Hadley. All 9 defendants will return to court on April 16th.
A public hearing held Tuesday night on Bill 232, the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act. The measure would prohibit abortions at 20 weeks unless the mother has a life-threatening medical condition or it's necessary to preserve the life of an unborn child. Pro-life Catholics like Maria Muffness coming out strongly in favor of the bill.
Based on scientific evidence showing that fetuses have the capacity to feel pain, I pray that you pass this legislation to ban abortion after 20 weeks gestation.
The bill being opposed by medical officials and attorney Anita Areola.
This bill is not about addressing fetal pain perception, and it's not about medicine. This is about politics. We should not let politicians prevent a woman from making the best decision given her personal circumstances.
Arreola called the bill unconstitutional, though many of the island's faithful see it as a step to end all abortion on Guam. In telecom news, Docomo Pacific announces that President and CEO Jonathan Kriegel has been promoted to the new position in the company and will leave his current job in July. Roderick Boss, an industry veteran who has worked at AirTouch, AT&T, and Japan Telecom America, was named to succeed him. In a news release, Docomo cited some of the key accomplishments under Kriegel's leadership, including expansion of the mobile network, introduction of triple-digit digital online speeds, construction of an undersea cable to the CNMI, and relocation of the company headquarters to the iconic Ben Franklin building. Kriegel joined the company in 2014. The details about his new role with Docomo have not yet been released.
Stick around for more news here on Primetime.
You're watching KUAM.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Come out for the 4th annual Chucky Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. Join us Saturday, April 14th at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. Show at 5:30 and go at 6 a.m. T-shirts, medals, and other cool prizes, refreshments, and indoor activities after the races. Grand prize drawing for all participants is a trip package for 2 to Manila. Register at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam. $8 for students, $12 for adults, and group of 4 Super Saver for just $35. The 4th annual Chuck E. Run and Fun 5K, 2K, and Flyaway giveaway. See you there.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
UOG administration met with senators about the accidental emails sent with students' social security numbers, saying they've offered credit monitoring services for students on that list. Though no students were present at the roundtable, president of the university, Dr. Robert Underwood, was apologetic for the breach of privacy.
They have a right to privacy, and the expectation that the university they attend will take every step to ensure the full exercise of this right. No step will allay every single concern. In this world where Facebook executives are facing public scrutiny, where data breaches in the thousands have occurred in other universities, where data hacks have occurred in the millions for federal employees, the underlying message is to behave prudently and responsibly.
He admits these breaches are a national issue, saying thankfully in this instance it was not sent by the database but a human error that was immediately corrected. Though he admits it's still possible recipients have not deleted emails with the SSN numbers.
What if instead of looking for jobs, the jobs came to you? Well, that's exactly the take students at the Guam Community College's Business and Viscom department had for their reverse job fair.
Graduating students were able to showcase their skills to potential employers. Kiani Mendiola has more.
Imagine conventional job hunting as a thing of the past. Students at the Guam Community College's Business and Visual Communications Department decided to take a different approach with their Link Up job fair on Wednesday. And just like the name says, students were able to link up with different companies at their reverse job fair, where graduating students set up booths to showcase their unique skills and talents to potential employers. For Department Chair Amada Manzana, it's been a more student-oriented approach.
We heard a lot of great feedback from the employers. That what I was told was in the 5 minutes that they're here with the students, they learn more about the student than a regular 30-minute interview.
The fair is meant to teach students how to present themselves to employers, especially once they enter the workforce. And the students agree that the event has been more beneficial for them, like marketing major Jessica Herrera.
It's really great for us graduates because other than being able to show off all of our work, we're able to show off also our personalities, and that's so much more than just a written resume, which is what you give at an interview.
Even scoring students prospective job offers along the way.
I've gotten lots of business cards today, and people that are looking to get to know me and see more of my resume, more of my work. So it's really exciting.
What makes this event even more impressive is that it was entirely student coordinated, from all aspects like advertising to support staff. Graduating students from all majors under the department work collaboratively to make this event a success. And Viscom marketing major Carissa Esmeralda commends her fellow students.
A few of my classes worked really hard for this event. They just worked really hard on it. I give them props for helping us have this event.
This is the first time GCC has ever hosted a reverse job fair. But because of its success, it definitely won't be the last.
The other department chairs have approached me about doing for all the other programs as well.
Could reverse job fairs be the future for Guam's hiring process? Only time will tell. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Kiani Mendiola.
Gloomy finances aren't stopping the Department of Education from hiring. Looking for a computer operator, secretary, educational interpreter, a JROTC instructor, and certified teachers for next school year. Superintendent John Fernandez says hiring freezes put in place to save money in central offices and across DOE remain, adding that these new positions are federally funded.
Positions that have been on hold for a while. But, if we don't use the funding, we lose the funding. So I've gone case by case and said, okay, this has been a couple of key positions that have been gone vacant and have forced the officers to have to, deal with an additional burden. And I'm releasing a few of them so that we can start to establish a list of candidates. And then at the right time, if that's successful, we'll interview them, make a selection, and then make sure those federal funds are used.
Fernandez adds it's a challenge to find a new junior ROTC Marine Corps instructor for Okudu High School. The law requires them to have 2 retired Marines or the program will be cut.
Okudu High School's mock trial team has been raising funds for their national competition in Reno, Nevada. On Wednesday, they were surprised to learn their airfare is free of charge, thanks to government executives who donated the miles they accumulated from off-island travel to a government mileage bank. Department of Administration Acting Director Edward Byrne presented the news, saying it's the first time the miles will be used for educational purposes, but he hopes it's not the last.
Obviously, we're going to use a fair amount of miles to do this, but it's better that it's used than not used. So, if there's a really good educational purpose, then I think it probably will.
Byrne estimates it adds up to 50,000 miles per student, totaling 400,000 miles for 8 students. Meantime, others praised the first-year team's success. Dededo Mayor Melissa Savar has also donated $5,000 from money raised by officiating weddings for travel expenses. You can learn more about Okudu's mock trial team tonight on News Extra.
It has become one of the most popular online sites for information on our history and culture, hosting more than 35,000 unique visitors and 600,000 views per month. Guampedia is celebrating its 10-year anniversary. Managing editor Shannon Murphy says it all began with a grant from the National Endowment of Arts to the Guam Humanities Council for a state online encyclopedia.
Something that they decided to put out there to all the Humanities Council. If you want to get money for this, we're putting money aside to create these. So all these Humanities Councils, some decided to do it, some decided not to, but our Humanities Council was led by Gillette and Guerrero at the time. We were one of the first, I think in the first 5 in the nation to get that grant.
They wanted to continue the project as a permanent nonprofit online resource specific to Guam. So, Bank of Guam President Lulian Guerrero, who is a member of the Humanities Council, saw the value in continuing the site. She is a strong supporter and chairs the Guampedia board.
That education is so important, and so this just fits into the philosophy of the bank and also the legacy of the bank about education and how we can only succeed and we can only progress when we become an educated community. And I really think the Guampedia just is a major player in that.
Murphy says many of their main users are students and mainland Chamorros who use the site for research and to learn more about Guam's history and culture.
Now to check in with Carmen Tulahi for this week's Think Green.
Every big event or concert, Peggy Denny is there. In charge of iRecycle, her goal is zero waste.
This particular event unfortunately did generate a lot of non-recyclable, non-compostable waste that is predominantly associated with the packets that the powder came in.
The plastic used for the colors at Holi didn't make the cut of recycled material. Denny says it's a common mistake because Guam can only recycle plastics 1 and 2. It's also not the first time participants leave a mess.
The concerts that take place on Guam, and particularly here, which are huge, they generate a lot of waste. And people, when they start drinking and whatnot, then they tend to have less concern for the environment, and everything gets dropped on the ground.
Trash that is picked up the day after by volunteers like Peggy Denny and the UOG Green Army. Peggy says they collected 2 truckloads of cardboard and 3,000 aluminum cans for this event. She also adds that it's not hard to think green while having fun.
Try to get a better understanding of what we can recycle on Guam, particularly aluminum cans and plastics 1 and 2, but generally plastic bottles at these types of events, and use the recycling bins.
Hoping next time concert goers think green and more people volunteer to clean up after. For this week's Think Green, I'm Carmen Victoria Trulahi.
Sports is next, but first, your island weather.
We're celebrating our 135th anniversary today, both in the outlying regions on which we hub and also here in Guam itself. It means so much to our team here in Guam. It means a lot to us in the Matson management team, because what it says is we're here to stay. It's a real physical manifestation of our commitment to this region. It's so important that we hire locally, we develop talent locally, we train locally. What's been a wonderful addition to our approach there is that many of the people who started off in Guam have gone off into significant leadership roles elsewhere in the company.
This is our headquarters here in Guam in Micronesia. And when we talk about putting down our roots, it's not just doing business, it's about everything we do with our friends, our customers, and our employees. I believe that nobody can replicate what we do, and that's why we have such a great team and such a great service and why we're successful. This is our home, This is our life, and we're happy to make a difference in everyone else's life.
Introducing Taco Bell's latest work of art. The new Triple Melt Nachos. Seasoned beef topped with a lavish blend of 3 melty cheeses. Another delicious masterpiece, only at Taco Bell.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. The Marianas Open goes down next weekend at the FD Phoenix Center. A lot of cash up for grabs in the black belt division. I'll get to that in just a bit. But first off, boys high school volleyball from the Teason High Gym. Check it out. The Teason High Titans hosted the Southern High Dolphins in IIAAG boys high school volleyball last night. Teason 5-0 on the season, Southern 1-3 entering the game. After taking the first set 25-14, the home team jumped out to a 9-1 lead in the second set. Neil Erickson gets set up by brother Gary and is able to put down the shot. Ball gets deflected by the defender, and Southern was unable to get the return. Teason continued to add to their lead and sat comfortable up 18-8. They never trailed in the set and went on to take the match 25-12. Senior Jude Cruz put the game away for the Titans with the winning shot. Teason is the only undefeated team in the league and hold the top spot in the Taga division. They will now look to keep that perfect record intact when they host the Guam High Panthers this Friday. The 37th annual APL Smokin' Wheels Racing Weekend takes place April 13th through the 15th. Over 100 world-class racing participants from the U.S. and Japan are expected to compete in the annual event. Smokin' Wheels is the Pacific region's premier event for off-road endurance racing, off-road buggies, 4x4 truck challenge, motocross, ATV racing, drifting, and drag racing. Saturday will feature motocross heats 1 and 2 for motorcycles and ATVs, mini bike and mini ATV, endurance races, off-road buggies and trucks. As the sun goes down, the action shifts back to the quarter mile with the first annual Guam's Top Ride, Smoking Grills, and Smokin' Wheels Drag Racing Championships. Sunday kicks off early in the morning featuring all-day off-road racing excitement, starting with the mid-open ATV endurance race, open motorcycle endurance race, 4x4 mud drags, and mini-mid ATV endurance race. And the main event, off-road buggies, trucks, and UTV 4-hour endurance race starting at 1:30 in the afternoon. Tickets are available at all Foodies locations, $10 for day passes and $20 for the 3-day weekend pass. Children under 11 years old are free. No outside food or drinks or coolers will be allowed. The Marianas Open will feature 2 stacked and exciting black belt brackets with competitors coming from Brazil, Japan, Hong Kong, Saipan, the mainland USA, and our beautiful island of Guam. The longest-running Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu event in the region will be held on Sunday, April 22nd at the FD Phoenix Center. In honor of the 11th season of the Marianas Open, a total cash prize of $25,000 will be given respectively, and 2 black belt champions will have an opportunity to win up to $10,000. Last year's Marianas Open champion Felipe Pena will return to defend his crown in the heavyweight division, Division 2. Isaac Baines will be back as well to defend his title in the lightweight division, Division 1. The first black belt bout is set to begin at 12 in the afternoon. Previous Marianas Open tournaments have brought in BJJ world champions from all around the world and has been broadcasted internationally, exposing our island's high level of BJJ and our local competitors. Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
We only have 30 seconds to describe the newest specialty flavor in the Signature Crafted Recipes collection by McDonald's, Garlic White Cheddar. It's layered with a slice of smooth, perfectly melty white cheddar cheese, a crunchy medley of tasty, crispy garlic chips, a dramatic drizzle of smooth, delicious, and flavorful, delectably creamy garlic aioli, all come together with a mouth-wateringly juicy tomato slice and crisp iceberg lettuce atop crispy buttermilk chicken on a soft, warm artisan roll. Luckily, you can take all the time you need to savor every bite. The Signature Crafted Recipes collection by McDonald's.
Guam is more than a tiny island in the Pacific. This magical place is where I call home. This island inspires me to learn and explore what's around me. It teaches me that there are no shortcuts in life and that the long way home may just be the scenic route. And that even the dirt roads can lead you to beautiful destinations.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Happy birthday to Candy. Thank you for all that you do for us and others. We love you to infinity and back from your son Cohen, Grandma Lulang, and families. Jerome, happy birthday to our daddy from your children, Malachi, Marcella, Marcus, and Matthews. Bryson Cole Sablon Cepeda, happy first birthday. We love you, our sunshine. Also, happy birthday, Gina Uggan. And happy belated birthday to Teresa Adriel Gogli. Happy sweet 7th birthday to our angel.
Also, happy birthday to my friend Nathan Timinglow, and you can be a part of this Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo, your name, and birthday.
And that's our time here. Just keep it here. Extras next.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E.
Thanks for sticking around for KUAM News Extra. In our lineup tonight, we'll feature the outstanding Ukunu High School mock trial team, celebrate a Tourism Education Council milestone, and meet another top teacher. But first, let's meet our newest Culture Club inductee, Daniel Stone. Here's Lacey Martinez.
Daniel Stone had a pretty typical upbringing in Guam. He's from a Chamorro family but didn't speak Chamorro, and he had very limited exposure to it at the schools he attended. It wasn't until he transferred to Inarahan Middle School in 8th grade when a fire inside him was lit. Daniel would reluctantly take a Chamorro dance class with Master of Chamorro Dance Vince Regis. More than a decade later, he's hungrier than ever to learn more about his Chamorro heritage. It began with that first day of class.
As I kept taking the class, it got more and more interesting to me, and I started liking the dancing aspect of it. It's like, it's physical, and then it's also, we're learning chants, and these are things that I never really were exposed to as a kid. Like, yeah, you see you get to see like cultural dance performances every here and there, but as a child, you don't really fully appreciate it, I guess, until you're a part of it. So yeah, that's how I started with it.
It gave him the chance to travel through a school exchange program and even dance outside of school. Barely a year into dancing, Daniel was selected to perform in the traveling group of Regis's community Inetnin Gef Pago program, leading him into high school. Although he took a short break, he was back by his junior year. There he'd travel for professional performances with the Guam Visitors Bureau to places including France and Holland.
This was the time when I started figuring out like what we got to do after high school and all that, and I was just like, I love dancing, I love learning about, I love representing Guam when we go off island. I love being able to do that, but then I noticed that sometimes when people would ask questions about Guam, especially about out there in when we're in Europe and stuff, that's what I was noticing with like our host families, like with the people that would bring us in, they'd ask us a lot of questions about Guam and just what we do, and there's some times where you're like, ooh, I'm not too sure if I should. I have the actual knowledge to answer that, but I can answer these questions, So that also helped increase my desire to keep learning more about, my culture, the island, history.
Daniel was initially headed toward a degree in psychology until he came across the Chamorro Studies program at UOG. The classes would reignite the passion that began growing when he was a teenager. Daniel would take up classes including a Laddie Stone building course with Dr. Kelly Marsh that would propel his interests.
So we started doing that, and I found out that, hey, this is pretty cool too. I like this. I like, my teacher, she was Dr. Marsh. She's a really nice person. She's really cool, and when I found out that she was doing this, I was just like, wow, this is a pretty cool class. And I mean, when I went in there, I was expecting like to learn, you know, like pretty much like a class. And then when she told us that we're going to be going out and actually like carving these rocks and finding out like how, you know, how we could have possibly done it back then, I was just like, all right.